We're about to shoot with tigers.
Yeah.
And Todd, what is the thing about tigers?
Yeah, what's the deal about tigers?
What's the deal about tigers at night?
Oh, they go into hunting mode at night. They go into, yeah, that's when they hunt, is at night. The animal trainer told us that.
So they're used to hunting, like eating people at night.
But and he said, did you hear me? He said, they love the wind, they love the night. That's what he said.
The trainer described the tigers to me as rambunctious tonight.
What is it about you? Because from what I understand, all these guys jumped on board because of you. What's your secret?
I think that making a good comedy, you have to give a lot of freedom to the actors, and I think I have a reputation with these guys as like, okay, if you work with him, he really, we stay on point, but we really let them do what they want, and at the same time, they have this freedom to fail. I think with comedies, it's like so important that people feel safe to try things. 90% of the time, the things actually don't work. You know what I mean? But that freedom to try it, I think, and setting up a safe enough environment where they don't feel foolish or it doesn't feel like, oh, that didn't work. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's part of it. I mean, there are a few guys out there, I think, that are doing that right now.
Mm-hmm. And then you pick these 4 lead actors who really, like, the chemistry between them, from what we could see on screen, was fantastic. How do you know? I mean, these are 4 guys who, a couple of them have worked together before. How do you
didn't really know each other.
Exactly. How do you know it's going to work?
Well, you don't really, but you have them spend time together beforehand. They become friends. But, once you put them all together, you start having dinners with them all, and you really just start becoming friends. And these guys now are great friends. But, and Bradley and Zach, when we were going to shoot the movie in Vegas, drove from L.A. to Vegas together just to talk. And, like, you do things to have them connect, you know what I mean? And they're, of course, also going into it with open arms because they want that connection. It's not like, they're looking, they're being shy or whatever. They want to connect because it really helps them in the part.
Well, Zach and Ed, I mean, of course we know their improv skills are like over the top. Then you've got somebody like Bradley Cooper who really, he had to really throw his A game into this. Well, how did, the 3 of them, how did that mesh with the comedy and the ad lib?
Well, I think the key also to casting this movie and old school, as you mentioned before, movies like that is like, you want to make sure that the 3 guys come from a different place comedically. Ed and Zach both are phenomenal improv guys and super funny, but they couldn't be more different as far as styles of comedy. And Bradley fit in that kind of triangle perfect. So that was the goal kind of when you cast.
I checked everywhere. The front desk, the casino, the gym, nobody's seen him.
He's fine. He's a grown man. Seriously, you need to calm down, Stu. Just have some juice.
I don't want juice. I just vomited juice.
Okay, now let's just think, guys.
There's some over-the-top stuff, no question. I mean, your movies wouldn't be your movies without that. When do you, Todd, know when to pull back the reins?
We don't do it. I mean, you do it in editing. You certainly don't do it when you're shooting. I think, you get 3 guys like this and you really just go for it. And then in editing, and it's never so much about like, oh, here's the line and you don't want to cross it. It's just like a personal feeling. So I feel like, this movie does walk that line kind of a lot, and I'm sure for some people it crosses it, but I feel like it kind of has a good blend of heart and, vulgarity, I guess.
Yeah, heart and vulgarity. That's a great combination. I can't even imagine for you how much ends up on the editing floor.
Yeah, we have a lot because, we do try a lot of doing things a lot of different ways, so there's a lot, and love a good DVD.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can hardly wait for that. Let's talk a little bit about coming and shooting in Vegas. I mean, there has to be pros and cons to it, but must be interesting is that it's a set that never stops. Like after you say, cut, it's still happening.
Yeah.
What was it like shooting here?
It's difficult because of what you say and because there are a lot of distractions in Vegas for everybody. But, the hotels that we shot at couldn't be more helpful, really, with putting the film together. But you can't control, there are crowds of people, and they want to get to the casino, and some want to stop and you're in their way, and it's like, it's a whole thing. But it really added because, we would come back from shooting all night from 8 to 8 in the morning, and you walk in, and it's just alive. I mean, most times you get home in the morning from a night shoot, and everything's quiet, and here it's just like, the party is still going, so it was a really surreal feeling that I thought kind of found its way into the movie.
No, this is good. I'd like to make a toast to Doug and Tracy
may tonight be but a minor speed bump in an otherwise very long and healthy marriage. Cheers.
Chin chin.
Sweet.
It's a lot of work, 14-hour days, and we would just go home and crash here at Caesars. But
Yeah, and then of course Ed is also shooting The Office at the same time.
Yeah.
So that guy's shooting 7 days a week. He had to have been nuts.
yeah, Ed really, it reminded me of when we were doing Old School, because Will was in his last season of Saturday Night Live and he was flying back and forth from LA to New York to do the movie. And I always thought, how are these guys, how's he doing it? And Ed was the same thing. And Ed literally did 7 days a week for, I don't know, a month and a half. It was crazy. But I don't know, he's a workhorse.
Why do I care, right? Why do I care what this guy's doing? I just like him. I like his haircut. I'm worried about you. Do you have a pamphlet? He needs a pamphlet. I think he has a problem.
Getting Mike Tyson involved, how did that all come about?
We just kind of thought of that in pre-production, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? We added a tiger into the script, and we sort of started mixing it around and thought, oh, it'd be great to get Mike Tyson. And for some reason, I thought it would be really hard, but in fact, it was really easy because we called his manager, and his manager, he's surrounded by really great people right now, and his manager got it, understood it, and gave it to Mike, and Mike understood the comedy of it and really dug it. And he came and he really came to play. And so I think that was our favorite day for me and the guys. It seemed like our favorite day because we were just thrilled to have Mike there. It was just amazing.
I understand he was pretty funny off camera.
He was. He came up with some good lines. Did somebody tell you that? There was a moment where I was sort of teaching Mike how to throw a movie punch. He was throwing a punch, obviously he's Mike Tyson, but it was wrong for camera. So I'm literally finding myself showing him how to throw a punch, and he turns and he goes up to the whole crew. He goes, "I can't believe I'm getting boxing lessons from the captain of the Jewish debating team." I thought that was pretty good.
It's really good.
It was
Okay.
a perfectly formed, perfectly timed joke.
This is my favorite part. My favorite part. Don't move yet. Stay on that first mark. Now.
I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord.
How hard is it for you to keep a straight face watching these guys? Because there's got to be moments where there's so much laughter, and you probably just have to, guys, get it together.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if you interviewed the guys yet, but there's a lot of takes that get ruined because I'm laughing. And they'll tell you that because I'm laughing first more than anybody. And so it is hard to keep a straight face, but, it's not, there's also a way, I'm not in the movie, so it's okay for me to be laughing off camera and whatever. For them, it's a different story, and Zach's the best at it. I mean, Zach's amazing. Zach will say things, everyone else laughs, and he'll just still stay there in character and just not move. It's amazing.
It's going to be a huge breakout, I think, this film, especially for Ed and Zach, I think. I mean, people are Bradley's got, 300 movies coming out.
Yeah, I mean, people know Bradley, so it's not as big of a leap. But Zach and Ed, of course, Ed's on The Office, but they haven't really been in movies, so I really think there's a big time jump for them.
What did you see in Zach? I mean, really, I just was watching him on FunnyOrDie.com, and that guy, I was crying laughing. Why did you know he was going to work in this?
Because it sounds cliche, but it's all, to me, in the eyes, and Zach has the most innocent face next to maybe Will Ferrell. And if you really think of the other comic actors, the Jack Blacks and the Ben Stillers and the Vince Vaughns, they don't have that. They have other things which are phenomenal, but this character needed that sort of innocence where they can say anything like the Holocaust ring or the thing, and their intentions were correct, even though it comes off entirely wrong. So I always thought that character just needed to be super, super sweet, and I think Zach has the sweetest face.
The babies in the film, you went through 4 or 5 of them. How did the parents allow what went on with those babies?
We were very selective with which babies we did certain things because some of the parents were really cool and some of them weren't. So the dad who we did some of the wilder things he was the biggest fan of Old School, and he couldn't have been more fun. The mom, we always did stuff when that mom happened to be offset and the dad was there.
Yeah, I don't know how much you could pay me to have my babies do that. But anyway, congratulations. This was fantastic.
Thank you.